What's up, party people? Let's see. All right. Two people on. Two people on. Yo, yo. Hey. Hello, hello. So, I'm a little late actually. I was supposed to have started a minute ago, but I got back here like 6:44 and I usually chill out until the time. That's not what happened. I forgot I had a female that was laying earlier today. I had the kids outside and everything. I put her in the dirt. Turns out she laid. So I got in here, I checked on her, and I was like, "Oh, of course you laid right before I have to get on this podcast." So 23 eggs, 19 of them fertile. So yeah, we'll see what she gives us. Yeah, how dare I? How dare I? Yeah. I was I kept looking at the time. Now the last time I looked at it was 6:56 or something like that. I was like, I still got 4 minutes. And then I went to put the female in the water so she could drink some water. And I'm about to pull all the dirt back over. And I look in the hole and I see one egg left. So I only had counted 22. And I'm over here like, oh, that's another egg. Let me pull that out. And of course, the egg I pull out is another fertile egg. And I'm like, hey, congrats. Hashtag blessed, right? Isn't that what they say? One more baby. So yeah. Oh my goodness. This morning was brutal. This morning was brutal. I always wake up like 5:30, 5:40, just my natural clock. And today it was like 6:30, and I was like, oh, lost an hour. I didn't even feel like coming out here. Just lost a whole hour. But yeah, I didn't come out here till probably like noon or something like that. It was like 1 o'clock. It was late. So it was one of them days. It's a little warm in here actually. One second, I'm gonna turn the temp down because it's I think it's like 73 in here. I lied. It's 74 in here. Freaking 74 in here. So hot. And I'm wearing a sweatshirt, so even hotter. Um, Today, I got a couple announcements I want to make before I get into the questions. Um, First thing is, I think I'm want to try to start making this a weekly podcast. I like it. I like it. It's pretty good. I don't get a lot of views or nothing. I'm not in it for the views. I'm in it just to interact with everybody and whatever questions you guys have, well, I'll answer them. That's how it goes. Um, so I'm thinking about doing this every week. Um, I'm also going to start doing monthly Q and A's for the members. I have a few members on YouTube and a few on Patreon, so we'll do monthly Q and A's for them as well. Um, so that means I need more questions because right now I only get like probably like 8, 9 questions for the 2 week time frame, and so weekly, get that out of the way. So if we get more questions, I'll be able to do more weeklies. But right now, I only get, like I said, and it's usually one person sending questions in. I need more people sending questions in. So how do you get questions to me? I'll tell you how you get questions to me. Boom. You want your question to be asked live? Email info@qbscalesandScales.com. Subject podcast questions. And I will save it for the podcast. And whatever questions you have will be asked live. If you have questions on the chat, I'll ask those live as well, obviously. So whatever question you got, I'll be here. Um, Also, for anyone local, I don't know if y'all can see that there. It's just this is what it is. It's a wooden snake rack, and it has 6 levels of 52-quart tubs. And if anyone here local of Barstown or in the area don't care to have a wooden snake rack, let me know. I had some people, a guy that bought a bunch of snakes from me. He made that snake rack for himself, but he ended up getting rid of the snakes. He doesn't have not that much time for them. So I'm trying to find another ARS to replace that because I was already going to get another ARS, but it was just not the time, and now I have to because I have more snakes. So that's how it goes, right? You get more, you gotta have more. And I also have a bunch of PVC, not for more dragon enclosures, but I have to make boa enclosures. So that's where we're at right now. Those are the few little tidbits there. So still no snake clutches. It's kind of odd. I know I started pairing them late this year just because of all of this construction and everything, but it's a little odd not to have any snake eggs right now. I usually have at least 2 or 3 clutches hatching in March, but no, nothing. Absolutely nothing even laid. So this is going to be a late season, I assume. I have probably 4 or 5 females over 30 millimeters, and the rest are like 20 or up. So I should expect like 20 clutches this year if they all go, but it's very, very specific. Only pied exanthics, tri-stripe, clown pieds, and just pieds. So I'm trying to do freeway pieds too, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see what happens this year, but it's a pretty interesting year so far. I kind of don't like how late it's going into the year, um, but it's going to be good because that means I can focus on bearded dragons beginning of the year and then focus on ball pythons towards the end of the year. So that might work out for me. And I don't know if you guys watched the video Friday about ultrasounds, but I ultrasounded the boa and she's at 26 or 28 millimeters. So she is pretty up there. She just paired after that on Wednesday. I recorded that video on Tuesday. She paired again on Wednesday, um, which is a successful lock and everything. But she didn't want to eat Saturday, yesterday. So that means possibly she's developing them even further to the point where maybe soon. And the thing about boas, if anybody cares, even if they ovulate, you're not going to have eggs for a while because they gestate for almost 3 months. No, actually, almost 4 months. So right after the ovulation, they go a month, do the post ovulation shed, and then 3 months later they finally give birth because they're life bearers. So it's gonna be a while before I get anything from her. But hey, it's there, it's happening. It'll be my first litter of boas. So just a matter of is it gonna happen or not? See, I heard different things about boas. Again, not sure anybody cares. I heard a lot of different things about boas. A lot of people said they were difficult to breed. They're not like ball pythons that take a lot of more work, which is perfectly fine. I understand that. But for the first time I do it, to be as good as it's going right now, obviously it doesn't mean she's going to go being only 28 millimeters, but for it to be going as good as it's going, that's pretty good in my opinion. I mean, I can't complain about that. So it is what it is. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, hey, first year it happens. I only have one female, so next year I'll have more females. I was supposed to get 2 more females, but my albino male is still he might be able to do it, but I don't want to chance it. He's still a little bit young, so I don't want to waste the female's entire season with slugs if he's not fertile or anything like that, or he doesn't do the deed. So it's just a matter of just waiting it out. The most informative content when it comes to bearded dragons, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. I know. So it's weird. I was talking to somebody and I was telling them the last time I did this podcast. By the way, the last time I did this podcast, I was at like I want to say 3,800 subscribers, maybe 3,600 subscribers, something around there. And I, if you haven't checked, I'm like almost at 5,000 all of a sudden. So 2 weeks ago to now, I've gotten over 1,000 subscribers. It's freaking crazy, crazy. So I appreciate you guys. I mean, somebody's doing something right, whether it's me or you guys sharing my content, whatever the case may be. Somebody's doing something right. So I appreciate it, and I truly do appreciate it. I'm not just saying that. Like, I'm not like I don't make any real money off of YouTube, but I do appreciate like the feedback and everything. I'm just really doing this to help people get information. So I do appreciate it. Let's see what else we got before I get into the questions. I may settle for a baby juvenile female and wait for next year. Nah, man, don't wait. My suggestion, since you're strictly going for reds, is don't settle for RM. Like red monsters is great if you're looking to outcross red monsters and everything. Which is the male. I know this person, by the way. I know what he has. He's one of my members. But for him to be a red monster outcross, don't be like settled for red monsters. There's a lot of nice reds out there, Spanish reds, German reds. Don't settle for red monsters. You'll find them. I've seen several red females. Actually, I know somebody. I actually don't even think about that. I didn't know if he was open to outside of red monsters, but I know somebody selling some reds, some red adults. So I might just send you their info. I don't know why I haven't thought about it yet, but because I was gonna buy some, but I have more dragons coming this week, so I didn't want to risk being overcrowded. So that's where we're at right now. How long is too long for a bearded dragon not to poop when not in brumation? Not in brumation. How often are they eating? If they're eating every day, they should be pooping like at least every 3 days. If they're eating once a week, maybe they'll poop once a week, like a week after they eat, obviously. So it's not really a week after they eat, but I'm saying like if you feed them, they should eat probably like 2 or 3 days later, or poop. They should poop every 2 or 3 days after eating. But how long is too long? Honestly, I've seen some of them go like 2 weeks without pooping while not in brumation. It's just maybe sometimes we are fixated on this brumation season, and I know a lot of times I say that brumation season is from September to March, but because of captivity, brumation can happen at any time during the year. It's just mainly it happens during September to March, which is their normal or brumation season. So a lot of times people get fixated on that, but I'm definitely um, never surprised, I guess I should say, whenever I see somebody telling me, "Hey, my dragon's brumating," and it's like July. It happens. It's not we're obviously captive bred these animals now, so their whole season is completely different now. So if if you're saying they're not in brumation, that obviously that means they're awake and they're moving around and doing everything. So now the next question would be, did they just wake up from brumation? Because usually after they wake up from brumation, they haven't had anything in a long time if you didn't feed them. So maybe they're just waiting to have enough to actually poop it out, which should be like every 3 days after eating, 2 to 3 days or so. Sometimes the poop comes right after the eat because they just ate. Now they got to push it out. So sometimes that's how it works. But I'm not sure what your feeding schedule is. So if you get a chance, put it in the comment section there and say, hey, this is the feeding schedule. This is the last time they poop. This is obviously people are like, oh, poop, poop. Reptiles poop, man. It's crazy. They poop all the time. Wait till you see a big snake poop. I never thought I would. So ball pythons, their poop massive. Boas, their poop even more massive. So I couldn't even imagine somebody with like an anaconda or a retic or something crazy. Nah, no thanks you. I could not do it. Absolutely not. All right, here we go. Puree, yeah. Poop 15 days. He eats every other day. Yeah, that's a long time. Eating every other day and not pooping 15 days. I bet he looks swollen too. Right at the lower section of his stomach, he probably looks swollen. That sounds like he is impacted. Um, the the puree should help. If some people also do like pumpkin and squash, if you want to try that, but their prune puree should help. But now that is she hydrated? Also, hydration helps a lot with passing stool and everything, and warm baths, all that stuff. There's a lot of different remedies people can do at home before they actually decide to go to the vet. But 15 days, it sounds like it's been a while. I'm not sure how old your male is, so if it's an adult, 15 days may not seem as bad as if it was like a 4 month baby. Like that's a pretty severe time frame. Oh yeah. Monster poop. Absolutely. Absolutely. My female boa, she's 10 pounds. She's probably like 7 feet long. And every time she poops, I can smell it as soon as I walk in here. No other animal in this building poops and I smell it when I walk in here. It's severe. It's outrageous. And it's not because it's like a stinky poop. It's just massive. So it's just the smell overpowers everything in here. Now I will say sometimes bearded dragons, if I catch a bearded dragon poop right after they poop, that scent is strong right after it comes out. But typically it's not as bad as the boas. So I will say that. How we get to talking about poop 15 minutes into this podcast? Come on, people. Pinkish urate is not a bad sign. It's um because they could have pink urate whenever they eat something that's pink. So if you're doing like fruits or something like that, they could essentially have that. Also, if any liquids or anything that have like a reddish dye to them, or any juices or anything or fruits or anything like that that have reddish dye to them, could make their urate pink. But if they haven't pooped, that also can make their urate pink. But if you're saying the last time he pooped was 15 days ago, I assume the last time he had a urate pass was also 15 days ago. So who knows what is happening right now? I'm based off the timeline. I assume he is impacted. I do assume he is impacted. That's just my thought because it's been 15 days and he's eating every other day. That's definitely sounds like impaction to me. Now the question is, are they on sand, paper towels, newspaper? What is your bearded dragon on? That's also another thing because sand will definitely cause impaction. Honestly, paper towel, newspaper, the bearded dragons will eat that and they pass it just fine, like anything else. So if you're, for me, I use newspaper, I use paper towels, anything like that. That if they decide to eat it, they pass it like it's nothing else. Obviously, it's no nutrients because it's paper, but it's it's better than if they were eating sand. And only time I ever put sand in their enclosure is when they're about to lay eggs, and that's essentially the only time. So that's all I expect. Now I'm actually dealing with this right now. One of my bearded dragons laid eggs like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and sorry, my window's right here, and I see cars passing, so I keep looking over there. That's on me. I get distracted very easily. But yeah, I have a female that actually with dirt and everything. She with when they lay eggs, essentially they yeah, man, of course, yeah. If you ever have any questions, you don't even have to wait for the podcast. To be honest, you can shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram too if you ever outside of all this, or you can even leave a comment on YouTube. I'll deal with it. But that is I had a female. She was laying, and the dirt that I use is like a dirt sand mix was moist, and now I'm dealing with respiratory infection, and that's how quick it happens. It's quickly um, just being in the humid setting where it's like a drastic humidity change from where there were, that can make RI pop out, and it's one of the worst things. Parasites and respiratory infection are one of the worst things that could happen in a bearded dragon because they're hard to get rid of, and if you catch it too late, your bearded dragon can pass. I don't know if I've caught it too late. I mean, like I said, it was 2 weeks ago, so I don't know how long she's had symptoms that I haven't noticed, but right now she's definitely showing symptoms because she's coughing and everything. So hopefully I can get her back to health. Um, I just heard her do it right now. I just heard her cough. It's loud. It's not easy to mistake for anything else. It sounds like a frog trying to get something out. So it's pretty bad. I hate to see them in that because I assume it's painful, but it's pretty bad. I don't know. Um, we'll see how she progresses. I've taken her out of that whole area and put her somewhere where there's flowing air, because sometimes that helps too. Because obviously in enclosures, you try to get all these vents in there, but you also have stagnant air in there. So putting her somewhere where the air is flowing could also help with the respiratory infection. For me, anyways. I don't know what anybody else does, but that's what I try to do. Keep them out of situations where the humidity changes drastically. Keep the temperature higher because that also helps dry their respiratory area because usually it's humid and there's mucus and funk in there. So that's what I do. Just saying. Um, yeah, I had to deal with my first impaction today. Put my little melon water, helping you let it out just like that. Warm water for like 5-10 minutes, help immediately. A lot of sand and a huge poop, absolutely. So I told you to take the sand out. I'll always tell everyone, every single person. I don't care what anybody does, but I'll tell you my experiences with impaction have not been great because out of 10 dragons that had impaction, probably half of them didn't make it because sometimes they just can't pass it and they require surgery. And surgery is stupid expensive on a reptile. Surgery is expensive on any pet, but I don't know, reptile pets are for some reason more expensive than regular pets. So that is something that I never want to deal with. So I always tell people, just so you don't have to deal with that, just switch to newspaper or paper towels, bare bottom. You can use plank with those lock and click vinyl planks. You can use any of those, and it'll always be better than using sand, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of people that have different opinions. It is what it is. That's what I always say. Just do what you feel like you should do for your pets, because it is your ultimately at the end of the day, it's your pet. You do what you want. All right, so here we go. Go ahead and start these questions because we're already 21 minutes in, people. 21 minutes in. All right, here we go. Let me share. So I have, I think 9 questions is what it was. So here we go. All right. You know what I forgot? Because I was late. I forgot my intro. Welcome to the Tip the Scales podcast, where I give you tips on your friends with scales and tails. Hey, there you go. Look, I've been working on that. All right. This is the 4th episode. I have to get it straight every time now, from now on. So we'll see how every week goes. But right now, I got to get it straight every time. Every 2 weeks, I got to say it perfectly. But I'm sure I'll get it perfect. I mean, it wasn't bad this time. I just forgot. I did it 20 something minutes in. So here we go. So, all right. Now I saw this question. I messaged the person that sent it to me. I don't have a picture. I tried looking for a picture. My phone, I got it a year ago, something like that, and I have no pictures from forever ago. And I produced this dragon in 2022. And you know what? Let me see if I have any pictures of it. Actually, I might have pictures of it on my computer because sometimes I move stuff over, but I don't believe I do. So let me. I have all my. Old pictures on here from archive 2023. Can't even remember which clutch it was. Nope, it's gonna take me forever. I had 14 clutches and they're all broken up by all the dragons. Oh no. No. Not gonna happen. Nope. I can't find any pictures of it. So the dragon in question is a hypodunner that I bred from a hypodunner to a what was she? I can't even remember what she was. But there was no leatherback in the mix. And essentially I ended up with one bearded dragon that appeared to be a leatherback. So I don't know if this was from a mutation within the egg or mutation in the genetics, whatever the case may be. I don't know. So I sold it as a pet only, and this looks like a leatherback, and I can't find any pictures of it anywhere. I can't remember the name of the person I sold it to. I'm not gonna lie. So it's just a matter of I'm just waiting for them to send it to me again because they usually send it like once a year. So that is where I'm at right now. Somebody put something in the chat here. I don't have any zero bearded dragons available right now. I don't have. Nope. I don't have any females right now that are gravid for any zeros either. So if you're looking for zeros, I'm not the guy, to be honest. I like producing wiblets more than I like producing zeros. So I always prioritize wiblets over zeros. But I do produce zeros and they sell too quickly for me to even worry about posting them anywhere. Because people know that I really don't produce zeros. And when I do, just like anybody, honestly, if you produce a zero, it's going to sell quickly because everybody wants a zero. So in terms of this dragon that I no longer have pictures to, I can't show you a picture of it. So, but it's still, I mean, I'll try to find it. I will try to find it. I promise you, I'll try to find it. And if I do find a picture, I'll put it on the next episode. All right. Next question is biggest order one single person has made with you. Biggest order I've had was, all right. So I sold, it was a bunch of pairings. This person wanted to breed a bunch of ball pythons, a bunch of bearded dragons. It was, I want to say, it was 4 pairings of ball pythons, and I think the same number of pairings for bearded dragons. So um, I want to say that was like a $3,000 order, but that hardly ever happens. That was, in terms of size, that was the biggest order. In terms of single animal that I sold for the most expensive amount of money was the $2,000 bearded dragon, and also sold the $2,000 snake. So one snake, one bearded dragon for $2,000 each. It's way better than selling, I want to say it was like 16, 18 animals for $3,000. It's a lot more work to deal with 18 animals than it is to deal with one. So, what are the chances of selling something that expensive? Very slim. I had that. It was a Paradox bearded dragon. I had them listed for like 3 months. So, it took a long time to sell them. I probably sold several $1,000s worth of animals within that 3 months. So, it's hard to sell, but you'll find the person. And that's just how it goes. So, that's the biggest order and the biggest sale I've ever had. I've also had, I, I also had a enclosure order that was $5,000, but that's not, assuming that's not what the question was about. I'm assuming it was about animals, but the enclosure order was $5,000. It was a bunch of these, actually. The 3-stack 4x2 by 1.5, and that was, I think it was 6 3-stacks that they got. So $5,000. They got a discount too, because usually I sell them for about 1,000. So they got a discount. So if anybody's looking for 3 enclosures, comes like this. That's 1,000 sounds like a lot of money, but if you think about it, that's $334 per enclosure, give or take, and you end up with 3 enclosures that have all of the lights in it. The only thing you have to do is buy the actual bulbs, and everything else is ready for you. You don't have to do nothing else except get the core. And at the end of the day, if you look at most of these reptile enclosures out there, one 4x2 by 1.5 is probably going to run you about $500 if you get it from someone online or something like that. So that's just, I guess, putting my 2 cents in there, putting in a sale in there or something like that. All right. Next question. Red thunderbolts or yellow thunderbolts? Which do I prefer? Hmm. So yellow thunderbolts sound, in my opinion, this is my opinion, yellow thunderbolts sound more um I think they sound better, because if you think about it, a thunderbolt is usually, when you show somebody a thunderbolt, a picture of a thunderbolt, not the dragon, but the symbol or the lightning that happens, you see yellow. So when you see a yellow thunderbolt, you assume, hey, that's a thunderbolt. So there you go. Red thunderbolts are great too. I'm not saying either one is better. My male Zeus is a red thunderbolt, and I'm working on yellow thunderbolts. So it's actually, he's more of a red orange, but it depends on who you ask. Some people will say, "Oh no, he's orange." Some people say, "Oh, he's red." Considering thunderbolts are pretty much colorless in most cases, now they've become more colorful, but they used to start off pretty plain, if you ask me. So red thunderbolts or yellow thunderbolts? Why do you have to make a choice? They both are great. Um, but in terms of which one sounds better, yellow thunderbolts sound better because it sounds more like it's what it's supposed to be versus the red thunderbolt. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I think both of them are great, but sounds better, yellow thunderbolts. Looks better, oof. Looks better. See, looks better is hard to say, because if you look at a thunderbolt, thunderbolts have that black stripe next to their red color, red genetic stripes or yellow genetic stripes, and then they have that black stripe from the thunderbolt. So if you like red and black, you go red. If you like yellow and black, you go yellow. Same with anything. So hopefully that answered the question. I don't even know. Um, oh yeah, time change is killing me too. It's killing everybody. Okay, we were just talking about it earlier. I woke up. I was telling somebody I woke up an hour later than I usually do, because I work off my internal clock. I don't use an alarm, and my internal clock always wakes me up at 5:30, 5:40 in the morning. Lost an hour because I woke up at 5:35, or no, it was 6:31, I think, was when I woke up, and I was like, Dang, I don't even feel like doing nothing now. Ah. So I 100% feel your pain. Time change is terrible. I think they were talking about getting rid of that in the law or something like that, daylight savings, but I'm still waiting. They say a lot of things when they talk politics, and I never hold my breath. So next question. Strangest thing you have ever seen a bearded dragon do? Strangest thing I have ever seen a bearded dragon do. I'll give you something I've seen two bearded dragons do that was strange. I saw two female bearded dragons mating, going at it. Yes, weird, 100%. Never saw it again. Never saw it with any other females. Only saw it with those two females. And to add to the stranger part of it, not already strange that they were doing it, the other part is then they switched positions. And then the one that was getting it got to do it. So it was weird. I don't I took a picture of it like it was probably 3 years ago, and I took a picture of it, and everybody was like, "Oh, you shouldn't keep two dragons together." I deleted the picture. It's not even worth it. Not even worth dealing with a lot of people. It's just it was more. I was just trying to make a joke out of it, and people are all butthurt about everything. I hate to say it, but reptile community is so toxic. It doesn't matter if you're in ball pythons, boas, bearded dragons. It does not matter. This entire community is toxic. That's one thing that I hate. And that's why I try. I mean, I try so hard to not get into anything. Just be me, post what I want, do what I want, and just leave everybody else alone. And obviously with YouTube, I do what I want, but everybody sees it, and then they're like, "Oh no!" So that's what happens. It's funny because what was it? My Tuesday video, I was talking about how there's always one or two people disliking all of my videos. I have no idea why, and I don't know who they are, and it doesn't matter. But any attention is good attention, right? They already got a view. I don't care if they disliked it. It is what it is. So it's like 40 likes, two dislikes. I'm pretty sure people are going to look at this video and be like, 40 likes. Who cares about the two dislikes? But it is what it is. I still got my views. I still got the two views from those dislikes, so I'm not even worried about it. But strangest thing was two bearded dragons mating that were the same gender and both females, and then they took turns, which was even weirder to me. And I hate to say that I kept dragons together, but a lot of people keep dragons together. Almost every breeder out there, they cohab female bearded dragons. Almost every single breeder out there. If they didn't, they would have literally no space for breeding because there's people out there with over 100 bearded dragons, and I assume if they were keeping every single bearded dragon in 4-foot enclosures, and let's say they were stacking it like this 5 high, you would still need 100 enclosures. Versus if you were keeping your females 2 or 3 per enclosure, depending on the size of the enclosure, the bigger the better. Obviously, if you're going to go 3, then you end up with less, right? So it is kind of how it works. If you have 25 males, that's 25 enclosures. If you have 75 females, then that's not 75 enclosures. That's only 50 or no, not 50, 25 or like 37 enclosures. So it's a lot less than 100. Okay. So really just depends on who you ask. But that's what happens in this community. You end up with a lot of people thinking they know it all. And that's how that works. All right. What's the most amount of money you have heard spent on one dragon? One dragon. So there's two different instances where this has happened. Hey, I agree. I agree. All of them are haters. Every single one of these people, haters. It's extremely toxic. Extremely toxic. I don't understand it. I never understood it. I've been in this community since 2013, and every single time I see some kind of drama take place, I'm like, was that even necessary? Like, what came out of it? Like, what was the outcome? Was it positive for anybody? No. We don't even remember what it was about now. It happens all the time. The only people that remember are the people that were involved. So it is what it is. That's kind of how that works. You can't only control what you do, you can't control what other people do. All right. So answering this question, whenever red monsters came out, people were buying them for like $5, $6, $7,000. Same things happen with albino bearded dragons. Albino bearded dragons, if you want a visual albino baby, it's like $5,000. If you want a het, it's like $2,500. If you get them imported from Asia, If you buy them domestically, which I wouldn't trust anyone selling any het albinos or visual albinos domestically, because more than likely they are inbred because they probably bought two parents or two animals from somebody and bred them together here, or probably bought three or four animals from somebody, bred them together here, and more than likely they were all related. So that's just me. That's just me. If they tell you they're not related, you can only go based off what you know. If they're telling you it's not related and you have suspicions, I would trust your gut, to be honest. I almost bought a couple of het albinos, and they were when I was looking at them, the pictures just kind of seemed off. It almost seemed like one of them had an underbite, and I was just like, I don't know, I don't feel like it, because that's another. See, you got to look for pictures. I always ask for pictures. Underbites, crooked toes, droopy eyes. All of these things are signs of inbreeding or just bad breeding practices. So that's just, you gotta look for those things. You gotta look for those things. And what? My battery's about to die. I just started. Oh, I forgot to get my charger. No kidding. All right. It says 29%. Surely I can make it. Yeah, maybe. Do you have any dragons that go to sleep early? What is your light schedule? All right. So I try to do during brumation. It doesn't matter what the light schedule is. I try to go off the outside, schedule. So if the sun's going down at 5 p.m. and it's coming up at 9 in the morning, that's the light schedule. During the summer, I don't worry about outside anymore. During the time where they're awake, not brumation season, I don't worry about outside anymore. I start increasing it slowly every week until I get to a point where they're on 14 hours of light. So do they go to sleep early? Yeah, if they find a corner that's dark and they don't care, they'll go to sleep early. It doesn't matter. Sometimes they go to sleep 2 or 3 hours before the lights go out. If they're comfortable and they want to go to sleep, that's when they'll go to sleep. Just like us, right? Just like us. If it's 7 o'clock at night and you just had a good dinner and you're like, you know what? This is that kind of dinner that puts you real down, tired, time to go to bed. It happens. All right. Especially during Thanksgiving. Ooh, that tryptophan, man, that nah, I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say that itch hits the fan, but it's whatever. So that's the light schedule. It's just 14 hours. Doesn't matter when you start it. Since I get up early, I usually start my lights around 6 in the morning, and then I usually go to 8. But if you're not up that early, you can do, what is it? Some people get up around 7, so you can do 7 to 9. That's normal time for people too. So it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Would you sell a male if he was too aggressive? Aggressive to who? Aggressive to females or aggressive to you? So that is the question. Because if he's aggressive to females, man, I didn't even see this. Oh my goodness. You better be careful what you say about red monsters, people. You better be careful what you say about red monsters. Disproportionate big heads. Absolutely. I had a conversation with somebody about that, how red monsters have really wide heads, really short heads, and also have, if you ever look at one that has a disproportionate body, it's crazy. It looks like upside down hourglass is really what it reminds me. It's like really wide at the top, and then it gets skinnier as it goes down to the tail. And it really bugs me when I see those, because I'm like, their head's already weird looking. Now the whole body's weird looking. It's crazy. So blows my mind. Blows my mind. I don't know how that happens, but that's inbreeding for you. I'm gonna have to tell my son to bring me my charger, because my computer about to die. Hopefully my wife is watching, because she's be like, oh yeah, send him out there. Nah, you're probably not watching. Dealing with all the kiddos. All right. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, going back to the questions. So to answer, is it aggressive to you? If it's aggressive to you, it's not really that big of a deal. I've had several dragons that are aggressive to me, but they're good. They're great breeders. If you're thinking about in terms of pets, then obviously if it's aggressive to you, it's going to be aggressive to somebody else. So you're going to have trouble selling it. I just had to deal with that with the rescue that I got. Man, she was mean as can be. It took me I got her in December. It's almost 4 months. 4 months. It took me 4 months to get her tamed down to a point where I felt comfortable selling her. And I finally found somebody yesterday that was willing to take her, and so far so good. Nothing crazy, nothing crazy. They're dealing with her, and she's been seeming pretty good. And that's essentially what happened. They they've been wrapping her in like a towel or something to get her out, just in case she gets a little startled. And so far so good. They've been petting her and everything. So been pretty good. You just have to work with the dragon. Is it aggressive just because the animal's aggressive? Because sometimes they can just be aggressive on their own. People can be mean, just like dragons can be mean. So it is that is a good question. If it's mean to females and it's actually causing damage and injuring females when breeding, then that's the other thing. I would definitely not breed that animal because it's essentially going to cost more work down the road. It could cause an injury that could lead to an infection. So that's something that you'll have to figure out. I don't know if you've tried breeding it yet, but if that's the case, definitely something to think about. If it's mean to females when breeding, probably got to go. If it's just mean to you, maybe not that big of a deal. You just got to work it out, figure out what's going on with you two. Get in the same room, talk it out, just figure it out. How much does the parent's personality really matter when breeding? So there's two things that go into bearded dragons, and almost any animal, whether it be dogs, cats, snakes. There's two things that go into it. One of those things is how often do you handle it? How often did the person that raised it handle it when they had it? Because handling makes an animal more comfortable around people. And if the animal's not handled at all, then they're going to be aggressive. They're going to be defensive, not even aggressive. They're going to be defensive to the point where they have to strike or they have to try to bite you to get you away. And that's something that really matters. In terms of, here we go. Thanks.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
Okay. I was in my room playing.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I done it.
All right. So I got a charger. Let me plug it in real quick. Oh man, look at my glasses. That just happened. All righty then. Never thought of you see a podcast where the person's equipment's dying and they gotta ask their kid for a charger, man. Isn't that crazy, dude? Wild, man. Wild. Just wild. Let me go back to the comments because this one's funny actually. I just seen a dragon with a huge head and I couldn't believe it. It looked photoshopped. And that's what they look like. They look so unrealistic looking that it's almost like, how does somebody think they produce something that looks good? Like, how does that work? Like, you see it, you took a picture of it, and you're like, this looks amazing. No, this looks like crap. This is something that I honestly, if this sounds terrible, right? Everything should always be sold pet quality first. If you see something hatch out and it doesn't look good, pet quality. Find somebody that you label it as pet quality. Tell them, hey, you should not breed this for X, Y, and Z. These are the reasons, and that's it. If something comes out and it looks, because I've seen this too, if something comes out and it looks like it's not going to make it, failure to thrive, just hard life, whatever the case may be, these I've seen so many people do this, and I don't know if they do this for likes or if they do this just to get followers, whatever the case may be. I've seen so many people do this, and they'll let it live, share its whole profile life, whatever, make a whole Instagram for this one animal that then 2 months in passes away. Nobody hears from it again, and or hears about it again. So it's a little crazy to me that people go that route. I have had conjoined twins before. I've had two sets of conjoined twins before. I have had twins before that didn't make it because it's hard. Whenever you have twin reptiles, they're always really small, and to, to feed them, if they start to eat, it's hard to find food from them. Depending on what type of reptile it is. For like a snake or something, you can just switch to a mouse and it'll be a little bit easier. But for me, all my bearded dragons eat, dubia roaches. So if they hatch out too small, they usually hatch out like 2 to 3 grams or something like that. The biggest one I've had hatch out is 4 grams. But if they hatch out and they're like half a gram or something like that, this probably not going to make it. That's my opinion. Obviously, I try to get them to go anyways. If it's if they don't come out with crooked tails, crooked head, whatever. I've had one come out with half his jaw missing, and I don't expect them to make it. And for them to have a hard life, it's not worth me making 25, $50 because I have to sell it as a pet. It's not worth it. So that's just me. Everybody has their own opinion. That's just me. So would I do that if somebody had a dragon that had a massive head? No, I just sell it as a pet quality, and they don't, because it's a red monster, and they'll be like, hey, $500, and people will be like jumping all over it because it's a red monster. So unfortunately. All right. Hey, a boa question. What are some boas you would like to add to your breeding program? So currently, let me start off with that. Currently, I have IMG, which is a darkening morph. I have Aneri, which is like exanthic, essentially. Aneri, this takes a lot of the pigments out of the snake. I have Hypo. I have, so now I should say this. There's a lot of morphs in snakes that are considered polygenic. So, and not snakes, but boas that are considered polygenic. So I have flamingo pastel, which adds like a nice pink red tone to the snake, but it's not something that is a morph essentially. It's just something that's lime bred. So when I pair this snake, most of the babies are going to come out with some form of that reddish tint of pastel. So that's another thing I have. Everything's almost everything is call albino or aneri, and then I have one that's fire. So that's what I have. So what do I want to add? So there's a few things that I want to add. Motley is another darkening morph. So when you add it to IMG, you get a pitch black snake after it grows up, after it sheds a few times. You get a pitch black snake. Amazing looking. Amazing. Absolutely. And hard to find Motley, to be honest, that is within what I'm looking for. That's not a fresh hatchling, because I also don't want to get a fresh hatchling right now, because my intention is to breed sooner rather than later, because I want to see what is produced. But I might have to go the route of getting a hatchling, and it is what it is. Sometimes that's what you have to do. But Motley, there's different lines of Motley. The main one that I've seen is Motley, the Colombian line of Motley. So that is what I'm trying to add. Then there's Aztec, which makes a crazy pattern on the dorsal of the snake and towards the tail and everything. Super cool. And then there's Arabesque. Arabesque. I don't know how people pronounce that, but that one's pretty cool as well. Also changes the pattern a little bit and the color a little bit. And then there's also Labyrinth, which changes the pattern a little bit. And so there was one that I was trying to get into, which was RLT, which is called Roswell Ladder Tail. And I was going to get into that, but then I found out that some of them have fertility issues, or I don't know really what the case is. So I was just trying to stay away from it. But those are some of the morphs I was trying to get into. What else? There's one more, Scoria, which is kind of a newer morph. Not new, but it's newer. And it's kind of hard to find stuff that works with the collection I have right now. And also everything's a hatchling, because that's what people are selling. And yeah, going to the comments here. Leopards, great looking snake. If you do an IMG leopard, IMG Motley leopard, pitch black, it's as dark as I've seen so far. And the only thing about leopards, I was going to get into leopards, but I found out they're actually a dwarf morph. So sometimes they are smaller in size, which if I was just going to stick with smaller snakes, I'd just stick with ball pythons, to be honest. So I was trying to get into boas because they are actually bigger, like 2 or 3 times bigger than a ball python. And that's essentially why I got into boas. But leopards, they sound great. Maybe one day, whenever I'm not too worried about the size, I'll go into leopards. And then bloods is another one that I was trying to get into. Also heard that some bloods are also smaller, but that's not the case every single time. So what I'm trying to work on right now, which I had a trio picked out on Morph Market, but then one of them sold and then the trio fell apart. So I was like, well, if I'm not getting that one, I'm not getting any of them. That's probably not a good strategy right there. But it is what it is. But I was trying to get blood albino. So they're the call albino bloods are called red dragons or sun dragon, or it's called red dragons. If you add hypo on top, it's called sun dragon. But those look amazing. And then they also have a salmon pastel. I think salmon pastel. I don't know what it's called, but so they have salmon bloods essentially, and those look really good too. I should honestly have posted pictures on the thing here. Actually, you know what? We're on here. Who cares? We got 9 minutes left. I'm gonna go on Morph Market real quick, and I'll show you what I mean because they look amazing. Look amazing. All right, here we go. So, blood, and then Colbano. Okay. Here we go. Loading up. And of course, all the ones that are on here, here's one, are not that pretty. And some of them aren't even what I was looking at. Let's see. I've seen some, they sell quick whenever they're really nice quality. Nope, there ain't none in here. Of course. Absolutely. That's what happens. Let me see some that I've already sold. Because I saw some the other day. Hey, here's one. Oh, that looks amazing. That looks nice. Here's another one. So they are orange, which Colobino is already an orange dragon, or snake. But whenever you add the blood on there, it turns to a red dragon, which amazing. But I can't even find them. Oh yeah, it's called Bloody Salmon, by the way. I just saw one have it. Go back. Bloody Salmon. Here we go. I'll show you what I mean. So it's no, Bloody Salmon is hypo blood. So that's what it is. That's what it is. My bad, y'all. My bad. I'm still learning. All right, let me see the one that I was just about to show you guys. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. That looks amazing. Look at these. See, RLT Motley. This is beautiful. Look at that. Rose ladder tail. It adds like all of these little squares here makes them real squares instead of sometimes they got more like ovals. And then at the end of the tail, it's more rectangles across the bottom there. But man, yeah, I can't find any good ones for some reason. Here's another one, Sun Dragon. Hypo. Looks great. There's only 132 of them in here. Look at that. Look at that color, man. It's crazy. Crazy. Love it. Love it. That's what I'm trying to get into next. So I already have a lot of Colobino. Those are easy to come by. And then the other thing I'm trying to do is add Aniri, make some snows. So make some white snakes. See? Beautiful. Yay. And then Moonglow is hypo snows. Gorgeous, man. Gorgeous. Gorgeous snakes. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's what I'm working on. But in terms of what I have going right now, let's do this real quick. Calculator. Check it. This is what I got going on right now. If anybody wants to know, anybody. Why did I do ball python? I was meant to do something else. How crazy. Y'all let me do that? Okay, y'all let me do that. So the female I have is also an Aniri. She's a ghost, which is a hypo Aniri. And she's 66% het Colobino, so there's no way for me to find out because male is not het Colobino or visual Colobino. So it is essentially, and he's also a possible jungle. So here we go. Check it out. These are all the things that I'll possibly get. Now, hypo and jungle are allelic. So anytime that you get a hypo jungle, just hold it back. Especially for me, where I'm just starting out, I'm just holding it back because it's allelic. So that means everything that I put to it eventually is going to be hypo or jungle, and it's going to be pretty nice. So Ghost IMG jungle. Let's see what that looks like. How many have been made? Yeah. See, that's one thing I hate about people on Morph Market is whenever they type out the genetics, it says IMG jungle, Het Moonglow. So that means it's not even visual exanthic or Aniri or visual anything. So, yep. So let me do this. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Look at that. It's just it almost looks just gray and white, or like different shades of gray. 50 Shades of Gray. There we go. 50 Shades of Gray. Pretty dope looking snake, if you ask me. In my opinion, pretty dope looking snake. So I think it. Hopefully, I produce one or two, and I'll keep them because why not? Why not? Like I said, anything that's jungle and hypo, just keep it. So one way for anyone ever wanting to know, hey, I have these morphs. What happens if I breed them together? Well, go to your listing on Morph Market. Like click this, like I just did, and hit calculate. And the first thing that pops up is going to say the genetics of the snake you just looked at. Nope, my bad, y'all. It's not hypo and jungle. It's what is it? It's Motley. Is it Motley? It's Motley. Hold on one second. Motley and hypo. Yeah, it's Motley. It's Motley and hypo that are allelic. So I'm gonna take hypo over here off so you can see everything will be hypo or jungle or hypo or Motley. It's hypo and Motley that's allelic, not hypo and jungle. So that's on me. That's my bad, y'all. That's my bad, y'all. But for example, if I were to have produced this hypo jungle IMG Aniri and I paired it to a Motley Aniri, which is what I'm trying to find, then I get a. I don't even know if this has been made actually, to be honest. There's only 3 on here. Hey, here we go. Hey, that's pretty nice actually. That's pretty nice actually. Hey, I like it. I do like it. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this big one. I like it. Oh, that's a nice snake. Yeah. Okay. How we get into talking about boas, to be honest? That's how we do that. Because of this question. And I think that's the last question. It sure is the last question. 2 minutes left, too. Oh, I timed it. Timed it perfectly. Let's see what we got in the chat. Nothing in the chat. Nothing in the chat. All right. Well, we got a couple minutes. Anybody want to say something? Anybody want to talk about nothing? Oh yeah. Yeah. So hypo bloods, that's what they were. I swear I saw a salmon pastel or something like that. But I guess not, because there's a pink pastel. Pink flamingo pastel is what it is. That's what mine is called. PFP. That's what I've been calling it because I can't remember what it's called. Pink flamingo pastel. I think that's what it's called. So yeah, but yeah, blood boas look great, and there's also leopard bloods. Oh, good lord, good lord. Let's look at some blood leopards, man, because oh yeah, those look good too. Let's see what we got. Blood. All right, let me. All right, check it out. Check it out. Here we go. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look at that. That looks good. Amazing. Look at that. Look, I got other pictures of it. Oh yeah. That's a dope looking snake, to be honest. I think it's dope. But like I said, leopard, they say it's so if you guys ever are worried about anything, you can go in here and hit traits and go find the trait that you're looking at. Some of them have these little eye icons over here. So where's leopard real quick? Here we go. So eye icon over here, and you open it. Look at that. Keep going down, and it starts telling you the leopard boa is also a very small boa. Boom, and that's what 100% what deterred me away from them for breeding. It says some of the females just end up being around 5 feet. I don't want that. Don't want that. Like I said, if I was just going to do that, then I might as well just stick with ball pythons. And also, they also have digestive issues when they're babies. So, just FYI. But look at that. That is sick. That is a beautiful looking snake. So, like I said, maybe one day, whenever I'm not too worried about the size of anything, I'll get into leopards. But yeah, they look amazing. Beautiful looking things. So that's an FYI for anybody. If you don't know how to use Morph Market, you click traits up here, and some of them will have this eye icon and give you details about them. So, like for example, click Aneri 1. So there's different types of Aneri for anybody wondering as well. So no issues. It says NA. Tells you everything you need to know, like what does it look like. Gives you some examples down here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff, man. Look at, oh yeah, look at that snow, VPI snow. Oh yeah, look at. Can I click it? It won't let me click it. That looks good. That's another thing I want to get into is VPI snows, but I'll stick with call albino snows for now, and then that's it. What are extreme reds? I've seen them British mark bearded dragons. Extreme reds are just marketing. Anything could be an extreme red. I could call anything an extreme red if I feel like, hey, this is a little bit redder than most people who sell stuff extreme red. To be honest, let me show you. Thing I'm already 2 minutes over. See what happens. Let me show you something. I produced these dragons from what was it, last year? Here we go. Here we go. All right, let me share this picture real quick. All right. All right, check this picture out. Check this picture out. What color is this bearded dragon? Anybody, tell me. This dragon is an orange dragon. Whenever I started breeding bearded dragons, this was a red dragon. There was no such thing as what we see now. This was a red dragon. So nowadays, people call it an orange dragon. Let me show you something else. This same clutch produced. All right, let's see if I can find it. Nope. Man. I cannot find it anywhere. There's so many dragons in here. I have to click through every folder to find one. Dang it. Is it this one? All right, here we go. Here we go. So the same clutch produced this. Oh, what the heck just happened? This male. So this one here was redder than the orange one I just showed, but it still looks orange. So I sold this one as a red, and nobody complained because, in my opinion, it was a red. The dad was a red. The mom was like an orange color. That's essentially what happens when you are breeding different colors. You mix it up like that, the babies come out mixed up too. So extreme reds, extreme reds. Let me see if I can find that clutch. Because here we go. All right. So I sold this one. What is hold on. What's that? I can't keep. I gotta share. Here, I'm just gonna share my entire screen because this is a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Here we go. All right, so I sold this one. This was a red. You can tell just from the head. That head is dark. Versus if you look at these two, it's still orange head. Still an orange head. But this one, super dark head. Now, I sold this one as a red as well. Now, add translucent on top of this. Let's see if I can find a picture of that. This one's not translucent. All right, this one's not translucent, but actually it is translucent. Why is it? Here we go. Yeah, check that out. And this was first shed. This was after the first shed. And extreme red is really just a marketing term. Extreme red. Oh, this just looks redder than most dragons. That's all it is. That's what extreme red is. I don't know what all I have in here. There's a lot of different things in here. Yeah, some of these I didn't even get a chance to sell. Like this one came out looking just like this. I didn't even get a chance for it to shed before it sold. So I never took pictures of it. The only time I took pictures of it was to send it to the person that bought it. So other than that, that's what happens. I mean, took a picture of it from the egg, it sold, and then I just kept feeding it until it was time to go, and I never took pictures of it again, except for sending it to the person. All of these are just pictures that I put on ads and stuff like that. So that's why. Yeah, there were some nice reds in there and some not so nice reds in there. And those are the parents. What about this one? Oh yeah, check this one out. Beautiful. I could have sold all of these as extreme reds, to be honest, but it's just a matter of who you ask. Like, I'm not too worried about it. Yeah. By the way, this was the pictures of the parents from the orange babies that I was showing you. So you can see how they show up. Look at that. Looks just almost the same color as the dad, but where did the red come from? Because neither of the parents were actually as red as that baby. So sometimes that's how just genetics play out. You know, that's just how it goes sometimes. That is what it is. Oh yeah. Oh, 23 inches. I would have been some nice babies. Orange. See, I told you. He said it's blue. It was blue, wasn't it? It was blue. All right, y'all. Let's see. I'm already 7 minutes past the time. So, with that said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Obviously, keep on sending questions to my email here. Okay, podcast questions is a subject, so I can answer them. If you also want to send them to my IG or my Facebook, you can send them there too. I'll just say, hey, these are for the podcast, and I'll keep them stored and I'll put them over on the PowerPoint slides there. I'm also trying, like I said, I was trying to do these weekly. I'm also trying to do a segment where I showcase breeders that I've talked to that have talked to me about their parents and everything. I want to start off with breeders that are my members first. So if you are one of my members and you are a breeder and you have pictures of parents and everything, send them to me and I'll put them on a little slideshow or whatever, and I'll say, hey, this is the breeder, this is what they got. If you're interested in what they're breeding, go check them out. They'll have some later this year or whatever, or maybe they have some now. But that's essentially what I'm going to start doing. Probably take 5 to 10 minutes doing that. Starting off with just the members because they are essentially, paying me to participate. And then after, I'll probably start doing sponsorships and stuff like that. So if you are interested in it, I'm not going to be charging arms and legs and stuff like that. Probably like 5 minutes, $5, something like that. Nothing crazy. Just to be able to make this podcast, grow, because that means if you're investing in it, if you're putting $5 for 5 minutes, you're also going to tell people about it. Whether if you're just telling me stuff and I don't put any, I don't make you pay for it, then you're just going to be like, oh, thanks for telling everybody about me and call it a day. No, sorry, that's not how it works. You want me to tell people about you? I have almost 5,000 subscribers. That's almost 5,000 people. Given most of them are probably out in the, I wouldn't say, I think YouTube told me that like 80% of them are in the North America area and then the rest are outside of the country. So at least, 4,000 of them are in the United States or in North America, I should say. So it is something that I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do. But, either way, 5,000 subscribers, 4,000 subscribers, whatever the case may be, people get sponsorships. And that's just another way for me to help people out. Not only help them out, but help myself out, because it's not cheap, man. It's not cheap running this building. It's not cheap doing all this stuff. And everything just keeps getting more expensive. I just bought 2,000 roaches. And when I used to buy 2,000 large roaches, it used to be like $200. Boy, get out of here with that. $200, you ain't even buying 5 roaches. But that's pretty bad right now. So that's another reason why I started breeding roaches, so I could get to a point where I don't have to worry about buying roaches again. But right now, 4 colonies in. I probably, out of the 2,000 roaches I bought, I'll probably use 1,000 for a colony and use the other 1,000 to feed. And that's where I'm just going to keep adding to the colonies like that, because It's hard right now. It's hard right now buying roaches. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to raise my prices on the dragons, which I can't because then people be like, "Oh, I found a cheaper one for 75." And I'm like, "Does it look like this one?" They're like, "Nah." Well, that's why. That's how it works, man. That's how it works. So, thank you for your time. You have a great evening as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you for participating. Thank you for being a part of my podcast. Yeah, man. Hopefully, whenever you get your female, man, send them over and I'll talk about what you got going on. So, thank you. Yeah, I think it's a great idea too. Actually, one of my members was telling me that has charging people to tell me or for me to talk about them, and I was like, you know, that's not a bad idea. So I give them props. I'm not gonna say who they are because probably don't want people telling everybody. But one of my members told me, so I was like, hey, that's not a bad idea. So I'll start with my members first, and if you're my member, you're watching this, I'll reach out and you guys just send me what you got, and we'll work it out based off the episode. So there you go. 12 minutes in, and that means that I am out of here. And with that said, I appreciate everybody. Thank you for watching. Share the podcast, share my videos, share my YouTube channel, like the podcast, like this video, like everything. As always,